everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing the book and the movie Memoirs of a Geisha. I'm going to tell you some facts about the book, some facts about the movie, and some similarities and differences between each. And then I'm going to tell you which one that I thought was better. So let's get started with some facts about the book first. The book was published in 1997 by author Arthur Golden. This book has sold more than 4 million copies and was also on the New York Times bestseller list for 58 weeks. So this was a very large hit once it was released. An interesting fact about this book is the author took real life settings. The book is taking place in Gion in Kyoto in Japan, and he even uses the name of real districts and places in this novel, which I thought was really interesting. The movie was released in 2005, and it was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, and it won 3 of them. One thing about this movie that caused a lot of controversy is the casting of its characters. It was very upsetting to many people that most of the characters, namely most of the main characters, were Chinese and not Japanese. So it really stirred a lot of controversy. People really did not like that Chinese girls were being cast for these Japanese roles. The main character, Chiyo, or also Sayuri, was one of the Chinese actors. Alright, so for the similarities, I was very pleasantly pleased with this movie. It went along really good with the book. It bases around the story of young Chiyo, who is sold into an Okiya house, and she is destined to become a geisha. And she indeed does, and her name is then changed to Sayuri. So the book and the movie really go in tandem along Chiyo's lifetime. One thing that I think the movie really portrayed very well was Hatsumomo, who was a geisha living in the same Okiya house as Chiyo. You see that hate that she has for Chiyo immediately and throughout the entirety of Hatsumomo's stay at the Okiya house. One thing that the movie was really faithful to was Chiyo's attempt to escape to join her sister Satsu. Satsu was deemed not pretty enough to become a geisha, so instead she was sold into a prostitution house, and Chiyo finds her and they come up with a plan to escape together. But when the time came for her to actually escape, she ends up failing and she hurts herself, and this is what it was really the pinnacle of Chiyo's story in Memoirs of a Geisha. And the movie really went along well with the happenings and the sequence of her attempts to flee with her sister. Another thing that the movie portrayed very well was Chiyo's love for the chairman. The chairman appears early on in Chiyo's life, and she immediately falls in love with him, and she carries that love for him throughout the entirety of her life, and the movie really portrays that very well. It shows her love for him, her devotion to him, her willingness to do anything that would gain favor with him. Another thing that was the same was the bid for Sayuri's virginity. You see they use the bidding for her virginity as the main way for her to pay back all the money she owes, and causes Mameha to win her bet against Mother. And then another thing that the movie portrayed very well was Pumpkin's revenge against Sayuri. Pumpkin gets upset because she was going to become the daughter of the Okiya house, but instead Sayuri becomes the daughter when she gains this outrageous sum for selling off her virginity. And it causes Pumpkin to become bitter towards Sayuri, and in the end she gets revenge by exposing Sayuri's unfaithfulness to the chairman. So you see the movie did a really good job of showing Pumpkin and her feelings towards Sayuri at that time and the way that she planned on getting revenge. So as for the differences, one of the things that I noticed almost immediately was the movie is almost completely missing all of Chiyo's childhood. The first couple chapters of the book are dedicated to showing Chiyo as a young character and her showing her home life and her everyday to-day activities. It shows her interacting with the man that her father eventually sells her and her sister to. You're missing all of that, and I thought it was really a shame because it really helped to build up Chiyo's character in the book. Another thing that's missing in the movie is the character of Granny. Granny is very briefly seen in the movie, and she's so briefly seen that you really don't understand why she's there or her as a character. In the book, she's a much larger character. She works Chio like a slave and causes her to be late for Geisha school a lot of the times, and she actually ends up dying in the book by tripping and falling on a heater, and it ends up killing her. Whereas in the movie, the only glimpse you see of her is very briefly when Chio is bringing her food, and that's the one and only time that you ever see her in the movie. Another thing that was very surprising to me was in the movie there's the scene where Sayuri and Hatsumomo get into a fight in the Okiya house, and Hatsumomo takes the handkerchief that the chairman gives Sayuri and kind of holds it hostage, and it upsets Sayuri and it causes them to get into this huge fist fight, which results into the Okiya house catching on fire, and that is what causes Hatsumomo to leave the Okiya house in the movie. It's completely different in the book. This does not happen this way whatsoever. The cause of Hatsumomo leaving in the book is she was kicked out of the Okiya house because she lost her temper with one of her clients and disgraced herself in the Okiya house. Another difference was the ending of the book and the movie. The movie ended with the chairman wanting to become Sayuri's Donna, and that was the end of the movie. You don't really see anything else further than that. The book goes into more detail. It shows their life together. She becomes somewhat like a mistress to him, and she moves to America and opens her own tea house and lives her life happily with the chairman as much as possible. And the movie doesn't really give you any glimpse of that whatsoever. Alright, so although I think the book was excellent and the movie was excellent, and I think they both went in tandem fairly well, I do have to say that my favorite is definitely the book. The book was just an amazing written piece of work. It tells a great story. It gives a lot more detail that the movie does not. It's one of those books that really draws you in and captures your attention, and it really causes you to turn the page and always wonder what's next. So I really hope everybody reads it. I hope everybody watches the movie too. The movie was beautiful with its scenery, and once again, it did go along very well with the book, but I do have to say that the book was better. So what did you guys think? Did you like the book? Did you like the movie? Let me know, and I will see you guys next time when we will be talking about The Glass Castle.